Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a Warren County woman charged with murder. She's held on a $2 million bond. And a possible air conditioning malfunction prompted an evacuation at Shields Elementary. No one was hurt.
Rallies outside the Supreme Court as the justices consider the fate of President Biden's student loan relief plan.
You say a little breezy, but there's enough moisture moving inland that could cause some more fog. We'll talk all about it in a bit.
Thanks, Howie. The Alex Murdaugh trial close to wrapping up. A defense expert believes there were two shooters. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being with us. I'm James Munoz.
And I'm Karina Garcia.
A Wharton County woman in custody charged with murder. 20-year-old Ainsley Tay Castillo is charged in connection with the murder of 45-year-old Larry Ortiz Jr. on January 28th near Freeport. Last Friday, Castillo was one of 4 people taken into custody on murder charges. Each are held on a $2 million bond. Victoria Crime Stoppers asking for your help in finding Jamie Lee Johnson. The 31-year-old has 2 outstanding warrants. Johnson is 5'7", 145 pounds, brown hair, green eye. If you have any information, call Crime Stoppers or you can go to their website.
This afternoon around 1:30, the Victoria Fire Department responded to an alarm at Shields Elementary. That's in the 3400 block of Blue Bonnet Street. Fire crews say the smoke was caused by a possible air conditioner malfunction. Now, several advocacy groups are holding rallies in favor of student debt cancellation on the steps of the Supreme Court today. Inside the building, justices are hearing 2 cases on the Biden administration's loan forgiveness plan. The program would give millions of Americans up to $20,000 of debt relief, but it's been on hold since last year. In one case before the court, 6 Republican-led states argue the Department of Education does not have the legal authority to forgive the debt.
We can stand here to show the justices of the Supreme Court that we need relief, and we need relief now. And we need to let them know again that today is a great day to cancel student debt. And we will not be subdued because of some sham lawsuits and partisan politics. We, as the American people, deserve this student debt cancellation.
Currently, federal student loan payments are still on a pandemic-related pause. How and when the justices rule will determine when those payments continue.
All right. It would be nice to have a little bit of rain. Let's see if there's even a slight chance this week.
Maybe a little drizzle.
That'd be nice.
If that's going to happen, it's going to be maybe in that Thursday time frame. For now, we say a little breezy, and we stay on the warm side. As temperatures warming into the mid-80s, and we stay on this path until a boundary comes in Thursday to Friday. That will start to knock down our temperatures. But look at our winds. All that movement out there in the cosmos, systems here, cold fronts here kind of tugging and pulling. We're seeing winds gusting away to 25 and 30 miles per hour. That'll hold fog back a little, but there will be some fog moving inland. Here's what we have. Not as bad as days past, but hey, just a little fog. Some spots getting taken down to a mile of visibility. That could be very tricky, especially while driving. So please stay on the safe side. 60s this evening, then overnight, 68, mostly cloudy and breezy, but there is a cool down with maybe some rain chances. We'll talk all about it coming up. Karina, James?
All right, Howie, thank you. The House Homeland Security Committee's hearing on the crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border underway. Republican Congressman Mark Green is serving as chairman for the committee's first full hearing. It's titled Every State is a Border State, examining Secretary Mayorkas's border crisis. The committee is set to talk about border security, national security, and how fentanyl has impacted American lives following the recent surge of migrants at the southern border.
Have we lost our moral compass so bad that we put politics in front of people?
Closing off legal options to immigrate creates illegal immigration, while opening them up reduces it. The administration's new parole sponsorship programs for Cubans, Haitians, Venezuelans, and Nicaraguans are already working to reduce illegal migration by those populations by over 90%. These programs empower ordinary Americans in every community to help fix the border. Congress should work with them.
Again, this comes after the Biden administration expanded a humanitarian parole program to include Haitian, Venezuelan, Nicaraguan, and Cuban migrants. The move was largely criticized by Republican lawmakers.
And now on to the latest in the Alex Murdaugh double murder trial in South Carolina, where the defense has rested its case.
The jury is now set to visit the crime scene as prosecutors call more witnesses.
Are you angry at him for stealing your money?
Another explosive day in this South Carolina courtroom. Prosecutors calling witnesses back to the stand in Alex Murdaugh's double murder trial.
You have heard the defense's case. Now the state gets an opportunity to reply.
For a second time, the state questioning Murdaugh's former law firm colleague Mark Ball and former partner Ronnie Crosby as the state tries to convince the jury Murdaugh killed his wife Maggie and son Paul back in 2021. Prosecutors asking the witnesses about hog hunting with Murdaugh, the guns they used, and what Murdaugh allegedly told them about the night his wife and son were killed.
What, if anything, did he say about whether or not he checked Maggie and Paul before he called 911?
He told me that he went to Maggie and then he went to Paul, rolled Paul over. He definitely went, checked on him, then called 911.
The defense getting into a heated exchange with Crosby, suggesting his feelings towards Murdaugh are potentially helping prosecutors.
You are not angry with Alex Murdaugh?
I have had anger with him, extreme anger, Mr. Hart-Pootlian, because of what he did. But you can't walk around with anger. You have to find a way to deal with it. You are dead wrong if you think I've come in here and told this jury something because of money.
The state also calling a pathologist to the stand who conducted Maggie and Paul's autopsies and a digital forensic examiner with the sheriff's office who was tasked.
All right, now a bill to stiffen penalties for illegal voting in Texas moves one step closer to becoming a law. A state Senate committee approved the controversial legislation Monday and sent it to the full Senate for a vote. Under Senate Bill 2, Texas would increase the penalty for illegal voting from a Class A misdemeanor back to a second-degree felony, the way it was before it was changed 2 years ago. And so this brings us to your viewer poll this afternoon. Scan that QR code on your screen to participate. What should the penalty for illegal voting be? Class A misdemeanor or a second-degree felony? We want to hear from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to participate. We will have an update on 25 News Now at 6.
All right, stay with us. Straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. A report shows the number of pedestrians killed on U.S. roadways continues to climb.
Also ahead, the USDA Commission is suggesting sweeping changes to a remedy against discrimination.
My time in the service, I did a lot of amazing things. I was very fortunate to have some cool opportunities.
United States Marine Corps veteran Mastery Gunnery Sergeant Gail Horn is your military hero for the month of February. She is a decorated veteran, having served 25 years in the Marines. Horn grew up in rural Minnesota and in her mid-20s realized it was time for a career change because, as she puts it, there's a level of camaraderie that one can only find in the Marines.
You know what? I think it's time for me to make a career change. I call it my first midlife crisis because I was 26 when I went to boot camp.
So on January 10th, 1984, Horn arrived at Parris Island, South Carolina for Marine boot camp. Her first permanent duty station was in North Carolina, where her primary job was in aviation electronics, as she was a deceptive electronics countermeasures repair technician, working in the helicopter portion of the Air Wing. After working in her MOS and then teaching it, Horn was presented with the opportunity to be a Marine drill instructor.
It is without a doubt one of the most challenging tours of duty I had, being a female drill instructor. We're a little bit harder on ourselves because we're so few. We call ourselves the fewer the prouder.
Like some challenges in life, those that seem to be the hardest end up being the most rewarding, as she would go on to be a drill instructor for a total of 6 platoons, with her Marines going on to live amazing lives and careers.
It was probably one of the most challenging things I've ever done, but it's also one of the things where I really grew emotionally and within myself. You know, where you find out, are you tin or titanium? What kind of metal are you made of?
And Horn is titanium. After talking with her, I'd even go as far to say she's tungsten, which is, for those of you who don't know, one of the strongest metals on Earth. Yes, I had to Google that one. She would spend a few years in Japan, something she said was a memorable time, being able to take her daughter across the world, even doing things like go to Japanese Disney World. After Japan, Horn would work at the Marines headquarters as an enlisted career counselor, a highlight in her career as she would guide people within the service and help them plan and advance their military careers. Then she got deployed to Iraq, where she did have a close call.
We started getting bombed. We started getting hit. Rockets were hitting left and right. And I remember the one girl, because they were really close to leaving. I mean, I was freaking out because I'd been in country 3 days. I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? And they're sitting there going, and she's putting her mascara on, and she's going, and it sweeped because the rocket hit right then. She wipes it off, finishes getting dressed, and goes because she was with Scarface. They were the light attack helicopters. And so guess who's going to go try to find out who was rocketing us? Scarface. So she knew she needed to get going real quick.
March is Women's History Month. This year's theme is celebrating those who tell the stories.
All these women have done so many things, and every woman has a story to tell. And it's important that we, hear them and appreciate them, because in so many countries, women are still put down so badly. And some places here even, depending on the situation. It's easier to rise up from it here. It is a lot of places.
Only about 8% of the Marines is made up of women, so when reflecting on her time as a Marine, Horn recalls she had to rise above the challenge of being in the minority.
I remember my senior drill instructor telling me, you're going to have to be 20% better just to be considered equal. And I kind of carried that through my career.
And she has one final message to all the women out there who are considering becoming a Marine.
Do it. If you want to be a Marine, be a Marine.
Horn is also very active in the local VFW and is the service officer for the Disabled American Veterans and secretary for the Marine Corps League. She's also an avid seamstress and used to train and show Cocker Spaniels, having a few dogs and cats of her own as well. Thank you, Gail Horn, to your service to your country and to all the current and retired service members out there. And a special shout out to all the women watching. Adam Seibel, 25 News Now.
Tonight, the damaging winds, tornadoes, snow, and ice. The severe weather on the move and leaving a path of destruction. We're tracking it all. More Americans turn to the most watched program on television, World News Tonight with David Muir.
Navarro Small Animal Clinic provides exceptional veterinary care in the Crossroads with complete veterinary services for your pet's wellness, including ultrasound, digital x-rays, and in-house laboratory. Navarro Small Animal Clinic, serving Victoria and surrounding communities with comprehensive veterinary care. Our goal is to provide complete care for your pets. Dr. Shayna Boak and her staff at Navarro Small Animal Clinic welcomes your pets Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at 5009 Country Club Drive.
The Governor's Highway Safety Association reports 3,400 pedestrians were killed in the first half of last year, an average of 19 deaths every day, and a 5% increase over the same period in 2021, a year setting a 40-year record for the fatalities. Pedestrian deaths on roads went up 60% in the last decade, while overall roadway deaths declined. Research from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration shows the broader number has dipped slightly. Survivors of the Uvalde mass shooting and victims' families rallied outside the Texas state capitol today. They are pushing for gun reform. Supporters are demanding action, including the stronger red flag laws and raising the age to buy certain firearms. The rally comes more than 9 months after a gunman killed 19 children and 2 teachers at Robb Elementary in Uvalde.
The USDA's Equity Commission released an interim report today calling for more than 30 recommendations, including extending opportunities to farmers of color to help remedy discrimination. The report calls for greater diversity, equitable access to USDA programs, and accountability for the agency. The report focused on diversifying county committees where elected local farmers help with outreach and make decisions on Farm Service Agency programs. Scientists from Texas A&M and Carnegie Mellon University say high levels of chemicals at the Norfolk Southern train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, could pose long-term health risks. They analyzed data of pollutants released and suggested 9 of the several chemicals were higher than normal. The highest levels were from acrolein. It can cause inflammation and irritation of the skin, respiratory tract, and mucous membranes. The EPA and local government leaders have repeatedly said their tests show the air quality is safe. The American Heart Association says more than 6 million adults have heart failure in the U.S. This condition may make it more likely for patients to suffer stroke and heart attack.
However, a new study finds a cell therapy may reduce those risks.
It's a serious condition where the heart can't pump enough blood and oxygen to meet the body's needs. The symptoms of heart failure are often treated through medication.
All of these medicines we use, they're quite successful, and they improve, they even prolong life. Well, but that's only half the story, because what about what causes heart failure? What keeps it going? None of these medicines address that.
A new study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology finds cell therapy involving adult stem cells from bone marrow administered directly into an inflamed heart through a catheter could result in a long-term 58% reduced risk of heart attack and stroke in severe heart failure patients.
It works along with the treatments that we already have. So you can imagine we keep everybody going and doing better with the medicines, and now we have a treatment that actually addresses the cause and quiets everything down.
The researchers say their findings should be considered hypothesis generating in that they show this cell therapy concept could work, but clinical trials would be needed to specifically confirm the effects of these stem cells on heart attack, stroke, and other health events.
This line of investigation really has a great future. And I can see that with a confirmatory trial, we can bring this kind of treatment into the mainstream.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Today marks 30 years since the deadly raid at a ranch belonging to the religious sect known as the Branch Davidians in Waco. On February 28, 1993, ATF agents raided the ranch looking for Davidian leader David Koresh. Authorities believe they were stockpiling weapons and ammunition. When the feds arrived, a gunfight started, killing 4 agents and 6 Branch Davidians. Federal agents retreated, beginning a 51-day standoff ending on April 19th. Multiple fires broke out because of the ammunition. 76 people, including Koresh, were killed.
Crazy times. We're looking at some fog. We'll talk all about it in a little bit.
Chevy Silverado factory lifted trucks. With the capability of a 2-inch lift, the versatility of the available multi-flex tailgate, and the connection of a 13.4-inch diagonal touchscreen. Chevy Silverado, taking adventure to a whole new level.
Get 2.99% financing for 5 years on all 2023 Silverado 1500 pickups, or get $1,750 total cash allowance on this Silverado with a 2.7-liter engine. Plus, current competitive owners get an additional $750 cash allowance.
Providing bail money came with a catch.
Mrs. Mullen said that it would be easier for me to pay her the bail back if I moved in with her.
Was it easier?
No.
Her sentence? Hard labor.
I was working 2 jobs and at one time 3. My whole check was being deposited into Miss Mullen's bank account.
You're looking at me confused. I'm not confused at all.
Next, Judge Judy.
From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
Stop the presses! Does she know that's not a real thing anymore? Wow. I'm back, baby! I'm me. 1, 2, 3, no apologies. I'm me.
Another winter day today, yeah, hitting mid-80s. So a little hazy. Saw some nice sunshine. We still get that flow of moisture pushing in from the Gulf. That's allowing some cloud cover. That's also allowing that warm air moving back in to the area. Look at that today, 85 degrees, more than 10 degrees above average. Look what happened in 1940, 96 degrees, February, winter, 96 degrees. Wow, that's a fascinating stat. Alaska's all-time temperature is 90 degrees in the middle of the summer. Okay, here's our future visibility. Why? We're still seeing that moisture moving in from the Gulf. Now, with winds on that breezier, gustier side, shouldn't be as bad as some mornings we've had in the last week. But still, hey, the visibility's down to 3 miles or 2 miles or a quarter of a mile or less. That's going to be tough on some spots. You just see some areas visibility remaining pretty good. Some spots really getting taken down and looks to linger around then. Look at that until about 9:30 in the morning. All right, here's our future temps. We hit the mid-80s. We're going to continue on this weather pattern with that warm air pushing from the Gulf until later in the week. A boundary comes down Thursday and Friday. Not really indicated here, but these temperatures are going to start to drop by, oh, here we go. I made it to Friday. Didn't think I had it on there. So look at this. Temperatures really starting to come down as that boundary moves into the area. Here's our looking now at our, okay, so our temperatures will rebound pretty quickly by Saturday. All right, here's our dew points. You saw them getting knocked down from the boundary coming through last night, but just like that, we had that warm front, the cold front turned to a warm front, shot back up with that moisture, and here we go back into the upper 60s, lower 70s with those dew points. Yeah, it's that stuff that you need to turn the fan on. It's warm out there. Okay, here's our winds. We're seeing some frontal movement. We're seeing highs and lows kind of tugging on one another, some systems in the plains, and yeah, we're seeing some winds in that 30-mile-per-hour range. That could be enough to hold off some areas of fog, but not strong enough to keep it all out there over the ocean. All right, I talked about that warm moisture. Yeah, that's moving into the area. That's stockpiling some clouds, trying to bring showers, but again, I talked about it yesterday. Opposing forces pushing down on the atmosphere, not letting that rain take off on us. Now that cold front headed our way. This one should really stay, for the most part, to the northeast. But the one we're really keeping an eye on, you see that coming from the northwest. Why are we keeping an eye on this one? Because this one could trigger showers. But more than anything, what's going to happen? Well, yeah, we're looking at showers, maybe even heavy rain, but then that cool air moves in behind that front. We go from the mid-80s to the mid-60s just like that. So that's a shock to the system for some winter weather. Here's our rain, not really too noticeable, very minimal. You know, a few showers here and there scattered. Most areas really staying on the dry side. Okay, let's take a look at our marine forecast. Here is what we're looking at. So water temperature shooting up there. Look at that, 80 degrees. Seas 3 to 5, occasionally up to 6, gusting to 20, right around small craft advisory, so be careful. Overnight, 68 degrees. Tomorrow, 83 on the breezy side, but hey, it's going to be 83. Looking ahead to Cuero, look at that. We get knocked down to some beautiful conditions with lots of sunshine, and then in Port Lavaca, similar conditions. Okay, we get knocked down to 76 with lots of sun. I'll sign up for that every day of the year. And again, that boundary is going to come through. Here's what happens. 86 to 68, just like that. 68 should feel pretty good. A little breezy, though. Might feel a little chilly with those breezes, but then look at that. Back into the mid-80s later on in the week. For more weather, news, and sports, you can go to our app. That's at crossroadstoday.com. That is free with any Android and iPhone. Karina, James, back to you.
Thank you, Howie. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 5, we'll take a look at Wall Street. Plus, a report shows American consumers felt much worse about the economy in February.
T-Mobile covers 99% of people in America. So when we say we have your town covered, we mean it.
Where I live is a rural area, and the coverage has been awesome.
And great coverage is just the beginning. Families and small businesses can save 20% versus AT&T.
The savings we get allows us to do more things as a family. We're a one-income military family. Saving every month really does help us.
Plus, with our T-Mobile Price Lock, we guarantee we won't raise the price of your rate plan. Switch today.
My name is Tanika Bufford, and I am a drug prevention specialist with Midcoast Family Services. Should we be concerned about the fentanyl crisis here in the Golden Crescent region? Absolutely. Fentanyl is a dangerous drug that is 125 times stronger than heroin. It is cheap to manufacture and easy to transport. Sadly, 4 high school youth just up the highway from us died of fentanyl overdose. Anytime you put something into your body that didn't come from a doctor or pharmacy, you are gambling with your life. Period. If you or someone you know is using pills, please seek help immediately. The dangers of fentanyl are real, and it is never too late to get the support that you need. Together, we can make a difference and save lives.
You ain't
This is Ford Truck Month, Texas. Time to get up and get into Ford F-150, part of F-Series, America's best-selling trucks for 46 years straight. All amped up and ready for work or play. Plus, there's a great selection in stock and ready for delivery today. So get into Ford Truck Month, Texas, and see what a built Ford Tough truck can do for you. Drive Ford F-150 with 0.9% for 60 months, 0 down, and 0 payments for 90 days, plus complimentary maintenance.
Right after the DWI, I lost my license, and I did 30 days in jail. I could have killed him because I decided to be reckless. I have a ton of regrets. I'm Katie. 5 years ago, I got a DWI, and I'm still paying for it every day.
Need weather around the clock? When the weather changes in the Crossroads, you need a reliable source. Visit Interactive Radar online for the latest conditions in the Crossroads area. CrossroadsToday.com. Weather at your fingertips.
Taking a look at your stocks, the Dow losing 233 points, the S&P down 13 points, and the Nasdaq loses 11 points. Oil up $1.37, closing at $77.05 a barrel. Americans' consumer confidence about the current and future U.S. economy is declining. The Conference Board reports its index fell to roughly 103 in February, down from 106 last month. That's lower than what economists predicted. Rising interest rates and concerns about a potential recession are possibly behind the dip. The Conference Board and University of Michigan are the leading gauges of consumer confidence.
More Americans are looking to buy homes. The National Association of Realtors reports its index of pending home sales jumped more than 8% last month. It's the biggest increase in more than 2 years. There are still concerns about rising mortgage rates, which could slow the housing market.
All right, stay with us. We'll take one last look at your forecast when we come back. Plus, a British dog duo is flying to Thailand to protect a critically endangered species.
News Center 25 at 6 and 10 is also heard on KVNN 1340 AM, Victoria's News Network.
They sentenced me to 10 days in jail before I could even get back home. My phone was blowing up from people's parents, other people, like, how could you, so irresponsible? And you go from thinking that I'm this good guy and everything's working out for me to all of a sudden, like, I'm a felon.
On February 2nd, 2023, at approximately 4:10 p.m., officers of the Victoria Police Department responded to a bank robbery at 7001 Northeast Acklands Parkway, a Prosperity Bank. The suspect was described as a black male, about 5'9", weighing 200 pounds. He was wearing a black hoodie, blue jeans, and tennis shoes. If you have any information about this robbery, call Victoria Crime Stoppers at 572-4200. All tips are anonymous. If you give information that leads to arrest or indictment, you could earn a cash reward.
Get the day's news in your inbox email newsletters from 25 News Now. Sign up today. Go to crossroadstoday.com/email alerts to get started. Need weather around the clock? When the weather changes in the Crossroads, you need a reliable source. Visit Interactive Radar online for the latest conditions in the Crossroads area. CrossroadsToday.com. Weather at your fingertips.
You can't do this alone. Not an investigation of this scope.
We're partners.
Her death is part of a pattern.
Another missing murdered Indigenous woman.
This is about a very broken system.
It's about corruption. The truth matters. We know who killed Gloria.
Prove it.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Meet two crime-fighting canines, Buster and Bess. The British duo are heading to Thailand to start a new role protecting critically endangered pangolins. The Labradors recently graduated from a training program with the Metropolitan Police and will fly to Thailand in April. It's believed about 200,000 pangolins are trafficked every year. This new Paw Law Patrol will work to sniff out live pangolins. There they are, you were wondering, smuggled through airports, ports, and roads. Workers will rescue them and release them back into the wild. Huh.
Pangolins.
I guess people want them as a pet or something, or a zoo.
I mean, how do you smuggle that in an airport? You gotta wonder. Howie, any ideas how you would smuggle a pangolin?
Looks like an armadillo. How can you smuggle it? I don't know. You need a big suitcase for sure. I don't know. I'm not a good smuggler, so maybe we'll talk about that again later. But we'll talk about some fog now. Here we go. Future visibility. That moisture moving in. Some spots getting taken down, others not really affected as much. Wind's gonna scour out some of that fog. It looks to linger into the morning hours, like 9, 9:30, 10 in the morning. 68 overnight, mostly cloudy, not too bad, a little breezy. Tomorrow, 83 degrees. Still whipping around are those winds. Looking ahead though, we do see a cool down. Look at Friday, only a high of 68, but then we start to warm up very nicely. Saturday, 73. Monday, 79. Look at Tuesday, back up to 84 degrees. So really just one little bleep in our weather. That's Friday. Then it looks very nice, actually. 68 under mostly sunny, partly sunny skies. James, Karina?
Howie, thank you. Thank you for being with us. Remember, we're always on at Crossroads Today Plus.
We hope to see you back here tonight for 25 News Now at 6. World News Tonight with Dave and Muir is up next.